crypto markets.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds good. Let's just do a quick little polish of the lens there. There we go. Impact of world events on crypto. That's a fascinating prospect.
Right?
Can you give me an example of what kinds of events? Are you thinking
Like,
like political
um,
events, war?
like conflict between countries.
Well, I'm actually not so sure. I know what would be a direct influence. I know from more of a macro perspective that what's occurring right now is the faith in crypto is because of the institutions, namely, and the influencers of those institutions, namely Trump, talking about it.
Yeah.
Right? We saw this. We saw this exemplified with Doge. It was a meme coin. It had no purpose of it whatsoever, other than just to show off the dog, right? And all Elon had to do was say that he was going to buy it, and it
Yeah.
went up 600% in a day. So we can tell that, because that's kind of like that predictive programming. Hey guys, look at
Yeah.
this cool thing. And as time has gone on, more and more people are jumping on board with this whole crypto thing, especially after Trump talked about how he wanted to use Bitcoin as part of his economic plan. So that I think is going to hold more precedent than even world events like wars and that kind of thing. And I'm saying that because for now the sentiment within the market is still that the US is a superpower. And currencies really, when it boils right down to it, currencies are the meme coin of a corporation. That's the equivalent of value that it holds. And so really it's just the faith in the dollar that keeps the dollar going. So when they see someone like Trump coming forward saying that he's going to help the nation out by implementing blockchain technologies in their monetary policies, people are excited. And I think that for the people to have less faith in the cryptocurrencies, I believe they're going to be faced with a crisis of some sort, similar to how COVID was a crisis to bring forward the opportunities of the health passports. We're
Right.
going to see the same thing. Next, it's going to be related to the digital ID, and I think I think that's going to be the next thing. And
Yeah.
the reason I say that, there are a lot of people that think it's going to be the aliens next, like a fake alien invasion. I wouldn't put it past them, but I don't think that's next. I think that's a bridge too far, where the people wouldn't know how to deal with something like that. They need something kind of in between, vaccine passports and the aliens are here. I think. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
What's the script going to be?
Yeah, what is the script going to be? And I can remember going through this again in 2022 after the Freedom Convoy. I remember thinking to myself, what's going to be next? Which is it going to be? Is it going to be the digital ID next? It's going to be the aliens? Is it going to be just the climate lockdowns? Right?
Yep.
The way the narrative talks today, it's going to be a cyber attack based on the timeline where we're at. This whole AI bubble is going to be timed with, I believe it's going to be timed with the stock market crash that we've been calling basically since 2019. Early 2019 is when the yield curve inverted, and it just is. It doesn't happen very often. In fact, it's only ever happened in 4 times in history, and it's right before, usually 18 to 24 months before the crash. And so in May of 2019 is when that yield curve switched, it flipped around. And that just means that the world was not producing enough products to maintain its economic growth. And so seeing that occur in 2019, that was kind of like the big thing. Oh, we've got less than a year. And I was saying, I think February, March next year, we're going to see the stock market crash. And it did. Now, at the time, in May of 2019, I didn't make the connection that it was going to be COVID that was blamed on. I didn't make that connection until probably like November, December, when the announcement came out. The China virus, a novel virus from Wuhan. That's when I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
This is game time now.
Yeah.
And I know several people who, the moment that occurred, they just stopped paying their mortgage, and they waited until the courts told them to leave because they weren't going to pay another cent into their mortgage.
Yeah, and I see the Canadian dollar is struggling. Oh my gosh.
And for now, major world events are going to affect the fiat currencies more so than cryptos at this time. Cryptos are going to be the liquidity in cryptos, the speculation that's there doesn't have a lot to do with international policy. It doesn't have a lot to do with these, another way to look at currencies are a country's stock. Right? Every time if you're buying $100, now you've got 100 stocks of that corporation, right? Of that country. So that's another way to look at it. And I think that, it's still very much a prevalent thing in society. Like, people still are very much needing the fiat currencies to interact day to day. They don't need cryptocurrencies to get their coffee, to pay their phone bill, to pay their electricity bill or their mortgage. So the sentiment around world events will have far, far greater of an impact on fiat currencies than cryptocurrencies at this time. Afterwards, you can bet your boots, once Trump comes out with the digital ID, and you better sign up, otherwise you can't pay your phone bill, or get paid by X with all your influencer points. Good job. You're going to need to get it in order to be a part of, to interact with society.
There's going to be a massive, people looking for an alternative, right?
We're hoping. We're hoping. Not very many people looked for an alternative in healthcare.
Yeah,
in 2021. And when the announcement from the BC health authorities came out that we had to use glory holes during sex so that we don't to reduce the transmission, people didn't look for an alternative then, right? Now, of course, we believe that there will be a larger swath of people looking for alternatives, and that really we just need historically 6 to 8% of the population. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to turn the table and to flip the script and have some people call it revolution, but that's not what this is, because we're not doing this again. This is I shouldn't say that. All of this has happened before, and all of it will happen again, but it's not going to happen like this for a long time, because the people are becoming more unified, and we're seeing it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have a totally different question that about cryptos that other people have asked me, and I don't know how to answer it. So the question is, okay, so the dollar, is backed by gold, right? That's where its value comes from. But what about cryptos, right? What's the value, or how, you know what I mean? It's a thing in space and digital land.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's go ahead, and that's a great question. And I love this one because, it does bring up, what is this backed by? Right? Like, all of these currencies, they're backed by something, and typically speaking, it's the corporation that runs the people. That's what it's backed by. And in fact, that corporation will take loans out against future taxation. They'll use future taxes as collateral for loans. Like that's how bad the slavery is, right? So when people say, "Oh, the currency's backed by gold," it's like, no, it's not at all. It's backed by faith. The faith that the banks have in the government in being able to pay off the loans with your taxes. That's not like your faith is a part of it because you just go along with it in paying your mortgage. But the currency itself is only backed by the bank's faith that the government can pay back their loans.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
So when it comes to cryptocurrencies, what is this? Like, what is it backed by? Well, the reason why this is forming a renaissance is because now individuals can take their property and register it as their property on an immutable ledger. Now, ledgers are used throughout banking all the time to keep track of people's property. And so when you have the capacity, without the assistance of a bank, to self-govern your own ledger for your own property in a private realm, what you are essentially doing now is that you are backing your crypto with your property. That's what you're doing. Now, the value of crypto is volatile. So people think that it's not backed by anything. But we have to remember that while it goes up and down in value, in comparison to what precisely? Because gold goes up and down in value too, doesn't it? Because it's a real world asset. Does the value of the gold change? Not really. In fact, if you take a look at it throughout history, there's been fluctuations. It goes up and down from a mean, right? It strays from a mean average, right? However, if you take a look at it over time, go back 2,000 years to ancient Rome. The centurions of the day, the people who worked, in the military, they were paid quite well. We're talking the captains and that rank. Well, they got paid well enough that they were paid in gold in many cases. And then again, this is during the rise of the Roman Empire. And what they would take an ounce of gold and they would go out and buy one entire set of clothes. And that gold bought a very good set of clothes. Well, how much was gold worth back then? It wasn't worth dollars, that's for sure, right? It was worth the local currency. But the gold itself bought a nice set of clothes. Well, what's gold today? Gold today, right now, right here, right now, gold is, and we just wait for the screen to load. I have it over here, $26.88 US. Well, if you take $2,688 today, you'll get yourself a very good set of clothes. And in fact, it doesn't matter what you want those clothes to accomplish, what function that you have intended for those clothes, you will get a very nice set of clothes. If you're a mountaineer, $2,600 can outfit you for mountaineering. If you're a businessman, $2,600 is going to get you a nice suit. If you are a welder, $2,600 is going to get you all the protective equipment and the overalls and the boots and everything that you need to do your job. So gold actually doesn't really change its value. In the same way, cryptos don't really change their value because they're backed by the property of the people who are putting it on the ledger. It's the value of the property that changes in accordance, in comparison to the fiat. We are in a mindset, and I do it every day. I still do it every day. And in fact, we're banking on this mindset that the fiat currency is what we're valuing our things by.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so tough, right? To change that, to shift out of that.
It is.
Audrey just put a message on that says, "Can you hear me?" No,
Oh,
Audrey, we
I
cannot
have
hear
to
you.
bring you on stage,
Oh,
Audrey. Go ahead and talk. There we go. Yeah.
Yes.
Now we can hear you because you're part of the stage. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, I was just, as you were talking, I was like, I had this meeting yesterday, right, with
Yep.
a business
Yep.
owner, and we're going to create a market, a co-op, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, as you're kind of talking about, that the government is not a country, it's a corporation, and that we just
Mhm.
treat it as a corporation and we can get out of that corporation at any time,
Yeah.
that we don't have to participate in that corporation's laws, rules, and all of that, right? And it's like there was three people sitting there,
Mhm.
and they had an open mind. But then you
Mm.
talk to other people and they don't have the open mind. They're like, I have to pay my taxes or else, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you ask the question about, what the value is of things, people kind of understand co-ops. So it's almost like that's where you have to kind of begin with the co-op and the swapping of product, right?
Yes.
So that opens up their mindset a little bit more.
It is. It really is a good key step to help people see that, a co-op is really its own little currency. It creates its own little currency.
yeah.
And that community that is involved in that cooperative uses those currencies as the tokens of their participation within that community.
Because that's
Once
what I
people
said.
start,
I wanted to
yeah,
tokenize. I wanted to tokenize the market, and they're
yeah,
like, "What does that mean?" Right? So yeah,
beautiful, well said, well said.
yeah. So we're
Yeah,
gonna get Paul in there talking to them.
it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that project in particular because, well, over the last 4 years, I think I've started about 6 or 7 different markets, and there's still a lot of resistance. So to see someone right out of the gate wanting to tokenize it, I mean, the tokenization, what is that? Well, it's something that BlackRock is doing to the trees right now, and water, and farmland, and your digital IDs. They're tokenizing everything because they're
You're gonna
claiming
get
it as property. They're claiming
you're
it
gonna
as property. Yeah, that's right. They want, and well, for those who got the experiment, right, that's a patented product. And the way patent law works is that if you make alterations to nature with a synthetic, that
Yeah.
alteration falls under the patent. Right? So now people who have had that experiment are now property of the creators of the product because they're a patented product now. They fall under that patent. And people think that I'm absolutely crazy, that this has never been done before. I was speaking with a small group, and they said, we have to come up with a whole new set of laws because this level of criminality has just never been done before. And it's like, no, pay attention. All you have to do is go on Netflix and watch Farmageddon to go see exactly how this has been done before, all the time. Monsanto, Bayer, DuPont, like all these big companies that produce synthetic products for farm, like you got your GMOs and you got your fertilizers and you got your pesticides and all these products. When they touch the plant or even the soil. They are altering nature to fit their purposes, which is get this into our patent. In fact, it's so bad, and people have probably heard this before, and if you've followed me for any period of time, likely have heard this before, that seeds, GMO seeds that are on one field, if they grow into a plant, and then that plant seeds, and those seeds blow through the wind, because that's how nature works, blow through the wind across a fence line, and then end up growing on another piece of property, the creator, the holder of the patents for that seed, can claim the land as their property and tell the farmer that stole their patented technology. They can tell that farmer to dig up his soil or hand over their property. Okay, this is documented very well in Farmageddon on Netflix, for crying out loud. So don't tell me we need new laws. Like, this is not something new. This is a business model that they've been using for years, decades.
So how can you change the patent thing that to eliminate it from nature? Like nature.
Stop voting for people who have every intention and the publicly expressed intent to take away your property. Stop voting for them. That's how you stop this from happening. You need to form your own de jure governments that make these patent laws oblivious or obsolete. Because this is there's that song that came out. I think it was earlier this year. I think it was a metal band, and the title was "Violence Against Nature." And it's a great, it's a fairly hard song, so a lot of people don't like listening to it. But go read the lyrics. It's telling people, and you can see people on the stage, like in the concert halls, as they're listening to this rock band while they're bouncing around on stage, screaming their lungs out, violence against nature, and the fans are screaming, and they have no idea. They have no idea what they're screaming at, right? But go read the lyrics. It's fascinating. Fascinating. The violence against nature is the program that they wish all of humanity to have ingrained in their psyche, so that the automatic response to nature is fear. That's what's going on. And the only reason that's coming about is because the people allow these programmers into positions of authority. What's worse is that after those people exercise that authority over people's consent, the people refuse to strip those positions of their ability to do it. So, I don't want to get super depressed. So let's move on. Let's move on to more encouraging things. But that's why we're in the situation we're in. And until the people actually do something about that, we're left to be the outcasts of society. It goes back to in 2021 when that ultimatum was being made. Oh, if you don't get this experiment, if you don't partake in this medical experiment without you want free and informed consent, I'm sorry, this is an emergency. And people don't even realize this, but that argument right there, that is an international war crime. To say, oh no, but this is an emergency, you have to do it. You don't need informed consent because this is an emergency. That is a war crime. Oh. Until people awaken to the truth about how free they already are. They don't have to vote for their freedom. They already have it. Once people get to that point, we'll start to see the shift, right? We'll start to see that pendulum swing the opposite direction where the power becomes back to the people. And this NextGen Merchants is a part of that, because my intent, my expressed intent, is to equip the local small businesses so that they can make as much money as they want and acquire as much property as they can using the laws of nature, which set them apart from the laws of man. It removes them from the jurisdiction of laws of man and places them squarely into truth and authenticity, where they are incentivized by those laws to have integrity. That's the beauty. That's where we're headed. And I honestly think that this level of consciousness is something that even our physical bodies cannot contain. That what we are experiencing is something that's transcendental to the physical experience. When we really, with our physical bodies, align it with nature, we unlock and give ourselves access to a far greater experience that's far more faceted or multifaceted than just the physical experience. We're finding out things like the five senses. That's a lie. There aren't five senses. There are 12. We have 12 senses. Only three of the five senses that we're told are senses, only three of them are actually senses. The sense of smell, for example, it doesn't exist. We have the sensation of smell, but it's not the sense of smell that we're actually experiencing. What we're experiencing with the sense of smell is actually memory. That's the sense. When we smell something, it's our nose is guiding us, is basically a homing device to bring us home. You know that smell? Mom's got a cooked meal waiting for you at supper time. Whatever those smells are, wherever you experience that comfort and that safety and that knowingness of your surroundings, that's another sense, by the way. One of the senses is the awareness of your position in reality. That's one of the senses. Once that knows, that remembrance of that comfort and that knowledge that you're safe, that's actually the sense that you are experiencing when you smell. When you smell something that's offensive, that's your memory activating. Ooh, there's something about that I don't like. And sometimes you can pinpoint it, and sometimes you can't. But the sense of smell itself is actually not the sense. And there are 12 of them. One of them is truth. We have no idea how to sense the truth. We stifle it. Remember how sometimes you get that gut feeling something's just not right, and then you put it aside. I'm paranoid. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's your sense of truth, and you need to listen to that. And in fact, the sense of truth is blocked. How it first got blocked? It got blocked in I think it was the 1200s, 1300s, in that area there, where ministers began wearing white collars. And the reason for that is because around the neck, when you lie, there are fluctuations that occur in the neck. And you can train your eye to recognize them when people lie. And in order to hide the lies of the church, they needed to put white collars around the ministers' necks.
It's coming back, though. Sense of truth.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is. And it's because more and more people are starting to realize everything we've been told has been a lie. Two other lies that I've only recently come to recognize this year. Number one, the human body was not designed to sit. And number two, we were never supposed to have 3 meals a day. More and more of this is going to permeate society, and this is how that 6 to 8% is going to form, just like this, through community, by talking about these things, by conversing, by working together, by finding ways to team up.
Mm-hmm. So you know the band that created that song?
Yes.
The name was Bad Omen.
Yes. That's Bad Omen, yeah. There's another band that along the same lines. I actually don't listen to metal very much, but I like going and listening or reading their lyrics, because many times we can see through the eyes of an artist another perspective of what's going on in the world. And another band is Spirit Box. And I encourage you to read the song, the lyrics to the song, Soft Spine.
There's so many, lyrics, even songs, like old songs,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You can listen to them with like a new perspective. It's like, wow, they knew this all that time ago. It's amazing.
You know, Ed, you bring up a great point. One album that I have always liked, and I just knew deep down inside it was really, really fundamental to understanding the scope of slavery that we are subjected to. The Wall by Pink Floyd.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the appreciation
Yeah.
that I have gained for that album, especially over the last 4 years, I'll bet you has 10x'd. Kind of like my crypto portfolio will this next 4 months. So yeah, well, that was fun. I love that. Look at that. We went for almost 40 minutes. Great. Cool. Anything else you guys want to chat about before I open up a few charts? I'm not going to go through all of them. Did you see on my Telegram, I uploaded the first thing this morning, the top searches of cryptocurrencies in 2024.
I saw the notification. I haven't looked at it yet, though.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. We could go through those assets if we wanted, because some of them are new. We haven't even looked at some of those charts. It'd be kind of nice to go through those. We have some of the assets there. We've got some of them purchased. So, but let's just quickly go through the fiat markets that we like to cover: silver, gold, the US 30, and the Canadian. And then we'll maybe just quickly glance at the crypto 30 before we go on to that list. Oh, let me get my screen all sorted out. There we go. There we are. Stage left. Why is stage left not quite all the way to this side? There we go. Okay. Here we are. I am going to actually move this over a little bit this way so that, because Audrey loves to look at all these numbers, because this tells her how much money she's making.
Yes.
Yeah. Me, I just take a screenshot of my wallet every day. All right.
I'm looking at them in my wallet as well.
Well, and you know what? Your attention to detail in that respect is going to set you apart. You're going to find more opportunities as a result of doing that.
Well,
sure.
today, my strategy, and you kind of know what my strategy is make some money, pull the profits out of one and throw it into something else. So then I'm going to have a lot going on, but those lots are all going to go up.
Yes.
Right?
Indeed.
So I'm looking at a lot of this. So I bought 0 by 0 recently.
Yep.
And I believe I bought 600 of it. I'm up to over 1,000.
Wait a second. 0 by 0. You did what? Tell me again.
So way back in, where was it? November. Hold on. To find my little page. I bought 0 by 0.
Okay, while you're talking, I'm going to pull up the chart here.
Yeah.
So 0 by 0. You got it when?
So I bought 0 by 0. Ethereum So Canadian, it was 288.70 that I bought.
What day?
November 22nd.
November 22nd. November 22nd, right here. Okay.
But Canadian, after fees, I put in 0 by 0, 288.70.
Yep.
Today, when I look at my wallet, it says I have Canadian in there, 1,039.
That makes sense.
So, like November 22nd to November 28th.
8
29th.
days.
29th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's watching every day
Mm-hmm.
and going, oh, okay, I want to sell the profits out of this one. So now even if I sell the profits out of 0 by 0, leave my 288 in there,
Mm-hmm.
and put the that amount somewhere else in maybe these ones that you're saying, right? Like the fetch and
Yes.
and you're going to put PAL in there again and the bit tensor and stuff like that, right? So if I split it up and put some of the money in there and then those go up, then I take. So all I'm doing is my profits. I'm playing with my profits.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So that's my strategy anyway.
Beautiful. One thing I would say, I'm glad that you're using 0 by 0 as an example, but I definitely wouldn't be doing that strategy right now. I would definitely be waiting, because 0 by 0, I'd be surprised if after it reaches $1, it ever is $1 again.
So you mean sell it?
Keep running this one. And in fact,
what do you mean? It's going to go above
0 by 0 is actually one of the assets that whenever the price goes down, like while the price was going down here, I was watching and waiting for the opportunity. And here I bought again. Way down here at 12 cents. And then I did again here. Because it came back down. This dip here, shortly after that, I bought again around 11 cents. So whenever it goes down, 0 by 0 is one of the assets. Whenever it goes down, I add to my bag, because right now we're on a big up, right? And we can see that we're finding some resistance right now at this level here, right? Because that's where it was showing some support in the past. So that pivot point is where we are right now. So right now is not a good time to buy. If you're wanting to maximize your results, you're going to want to wait for a little bit of a retracement. Now, I think that we could very well see this price actually come up to the next point, the next resistance here. Because this level provided support, but it didn't provide much resistance when the price came up. It basically blasted through that level. So here, where we are right now, again, this is all speculation, but this here could very well continue upwards to here before it retraces.
So,
but your strategy is the right idea. Just want to clarify.
My strategy would probably be, I'll wait until it hits that level, then I'll sell a little bit, and when it goes down, I'll buy it back.
That's right. You may not necessarily swap this for another asset. You might just sit on it. You might put it into ADA, because that'll likely continue to go up too while this goes down. Yeah.
Or just my strategy. There's different strategies, right? So.
Yeah, you could also do like one of the stable coins, like USDT or something like that. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, let's go through this. Silver continuing to bounce off of this level of support. Isn't that interesting? If this price action here, what we're seeing here now form, if this ends up going above this, we might see it find some resistance up here at the $32 level, because that's where it provided resistance in the past. That would certainly complete the head and shoulders pattern, which then would bring us into a downward trend. But right now, as it is, this high would need to be beat for us to see that occur. And I don't know. It really depends on how much more faith the dollar gets as time goes on. I think that we might see a little bit of what we call sideways motion, where it just consolidates for a while. But yeah, silver down from it didn't even make it to the all-time high. So the fact it didn't make it to an all-time high tells me that we're probably not going to test that again. Gold. And again, folks, none of this is financial advice. Do your own research. I'm sharing with you the strategies that I have employed since 2017 to identify these opportunities. And I can tell you right now that we're in a crazy period of time here. These next 4 months, 5 months, 6 months at the long estimation is going to be wild. So I'm just going to share what I'm doing, and we'll see where it goes. Honestly, I don't think any of these, like all of these things, all of them, no matter what asset it is that I'm invested in or analyzing, I view all of these as like they're as valuable as a meme coin right now, simply because of all of the hype that's coming into the market. I'm not interested in which one is winning. I'm interested in which one is got the most hype. Which one, or sorry, not which one's the best. I'm just interested in which one's got the most hype. Because none of these are the best. This is a AI bubble, and all of these are going to be riding that wave. I just simply want to ride the ones that have the funnest ride. That's all. So gold, nice big retracement, new high here that's higher than the previous high, but we gotta make another high if we call this an upward trend. Right now we have an A, B, and a C formed, and wherever D ends up is likely to be down here, is gonna shape the trend over the next few months. Next, we got the US 30. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Complex. Dow Jones Industrial Index. This one here formed that new high just a couple days ago, on Wednesday, and has been retracing a little bit ever since. Oh, for crying out loud, it's already 8 o'clock. And the TSX. Good old Canada, forming new highs with its Toronto Stock Exchange. Yay! Crypto 30 still climbing up towards that all-time high. We can see this retracement that happened earlier this week didn't last very long. In fact, on this index, it only went down 10%. For cryptos, that's not that much. And it has been climbing ever since. So, yeah. That one, Bitcoin, basically looking like the same. Remember how I've been saying Bitcoin's kind of like your barometer for the entire industry? That's because of how much market capitalization it has within the top 30. In fact, if we go back to CoinMarketCap here, we can see that Bitcoin, right here, look at the valuation difference. Market cap, 1.9 trillion, and the next runner-up is only 437 billion. So the amount that's in here is the large majority. That's why the Crypto 30 and Bitcoin have very similar charts. All right, and I do have to go, guys. I want to keep going, and I wasn't anticipating having a great conversation as much as we did there at the beginning, and that's okay. Tomorrow morning, we'll go through that list that I posted up on Telegram. If for those of you who are wanting to tune into that, let me just go ahead and change my screen here and bring up the banner. For those of you that would like to tune in, here's a website where you can connect with me on all of these different platforms. X, YouTube, Telegram. Telegram is where I'm more posting the trading stuff at the moment, and updates for updates to that. X, that's where more of my commentary and rants occur. YouTube, I'm always live streaming stuff there. And then, of course, if you would like to meet with me over online or over coffee. You can also book a link. There's a booking link in there as well. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow.